Yo guys, Vision here back with some more Call of Duty Zombies content, with today's video all being around the Astra Malorum map from Black Ops 7, an incredible DLC 1 map regarding the layout, the theme, the aesthetics, all of the challenges in this map to survive in itself, with the Oscar elite enemy, a difficult Easter egg in itself that's both challenging throughout, and even tougher boss fight as well. This is episode 24 of the Zombie series, with all of my previous episodes all on the channel, linked down below. So on that note, let's get right into it. So first things first, in case you guys are new, we'll generally kick this off with an overview of the video and itself, and also make it very clear that this is not an Easter egg guide, purely a series of me creating the ultimate tier list, having every single Easter egg ever done and ever made, and every zombie map by Treyarch, all in one place on this channel, where we're going to work our way through all of the newer CODs with Black Ops 7, and also simultaneously work our way through the older CODs in previous Easter eggs, and moving forward. For the overview of this episode, we'll talk about the map thoughts, the initial gameplay of myself playing this, the master camo journey in small details, the map layout in itself, the character's lore, all of the actual details about the map in itself, and the difficulty, the Easter egg, the boss fight, and then we'll get into the ranking of this map versus other DLC 1 maps, whether it's versus Citadel from last year or Dryson Tracker, other great DLC 1 maps that we've had in the past, and how this map sort of fares against them, and also in itself as a standalone tier list. And I just think that this map was an initially great map that I played off the get-go. Have to get around to the long-term solution on how we play this map versus playability, and we'll get into all of these details. But initially playing this map, I completed the infestation camo grind, which I pretty much did on Ashes of the Damned and the survival maps, and I completed the Easter egg on Ashes, which is a part of episode 22, and all of these videos are already on the channel, linked below, for the infestation camo grind journey and all that sort of stuff. But for this map, I had no distractions, purely for me to just play this map and start learning the Easter egg from the get-go, and I absolutely loved it. It reminds me of Shangri-La, mix a little bit of Shattered Veil, and also the Moon as well, all in like one map. Three maps that I absolutely love from past CODs, and this map ticks a lot of those same boxes. This map has a lot of character. The theme has a great combination of visual elements that improve the experience, as well as, I'd say, more on the difficult side of a map as well, with regards to Oscar, the zombies being enhanced to like round 55 speed, the layout in itself both being challenging later in games, but also with the red-eyed zombies just generally makes surviving quite difficult, especially with a heavy weapon. That's what I found in my experience. But overall, I would say an incredible map. Initially, I had a great time, and going into the Easter egg, this was an incredible experience that challenged me, made me have to go and do it multiple times, because I did end up getting to the boss fight and I did end up failing, and I have to say that that is a great thing in itself. I've been playing Call of Duty since World at War, and having boss fights that take a lot of preparation, and even if you get it wrong, knowing that I'm excited to go back again and get my revenge, and also just have the motivation to want to keep playing these maps, and also have to try and grind out a really difficult Easter egg, something that's hard to learn, and at the same time trying to figure out all of the ins and outs, was a really fascinating experience, something I really thrive on and look forward to in Call of Duty Zombies. And I don't like easy maps in itself, so this, like I said, ticked a lot of boxes for me in my ranking. Versus other maps in recent years, I'd say this is definitely on the stronger side of the selections, like versus other maps, whether it's DLC 1. It's not the best DLC 1 map, it's still great, but that's always because we've had Citadel last year, with that, in my opinion, being one of the better maps that we've had in a very long time. And we also had things like Horizon Tracker in the past, like I said. So I think this is a DLC 1 map, is definitely great. It's not the best, but obviously that's always debatable, and it's not holding it down or anything like that. I just think that those other maps are held in such high regards. Like, for me, Citadel is an A tier map, a really strong one, and for Horizon Tracker, obviously that's like a top 3 map of all time. That's like high S tier for me. So I'd say this, if it's competing with them, it already has like a high bar to beat, and I'd say it definitely sort of got closer to them than it was anywhere else below that as well. So for me, I would say this is probably a B tier map. Again, we're creating the ultimate ranking list. At the end of the series, I will eventually do an ultimate tier ranking, going off all of the episodes that we've gone through, using the archive as a recollection of where we think maps were at the time, and then giving a final tier list where I think this map definitely has potential to move up, but I think I can't rank everything A tier, but it just shows how good they are. And like, I love modern zombies. Like I said, I have been playing for since World War, and I still love the new gen zombies. I still love modern zombies. I think this is an absolutely incredible experience so far with Black Ops 7. The infestation grind was incredible, as I said. So all of it in itself, I think we're in good hands, and I think Black Ops 7 has started off really, really well, and I'm excited for what comes next in DLC DLC 2. As for the map-specific details and the layout and the map design, I'd say it's all incredible. I really like the building designs, the outside environments with the likes of the asteroids, and just generally the terrain in itself. Mars itself is incredible. That whole separate entity adds a whole nother layer and just detail to this map. I'm a big fan, I've got to say. I really do think that there's a lot to say positively about this map. I think the experience of this being a DLC one was it's really exciting. I definitely think it lived up to expectations. Like, yeah, they could have done better always, of course. Like, it could have been an A tier or an S tier map, yes. But at the same time, this is a good bar that they've set, and they know that they can improve. And if there's going to be better maps than this going forward, hopefully, then we are in good hands. I think there's a lot of promising signs here, and I think just generally the experience of this map was both really challenging, and the overall map layout is just super fun. I think with us having DLC 5 confirmed this year, we're going to have so much more exciting content to delve into and go into the details for. And of course, we can all dream and hope that they do a Zombies Chronicles Part 2, which I am super excited for and hoping that is the case. Of course, if it's not and it's just a 5th map, that's absolutely fine with me. Having 5 DLCs is already a remarkable step, so we have a lot to look forward to going forward into this game. As for like high round potential, I'd say this map, more than a lot of the recent ones I've played, would have less high round potential due to maybe Oscar and a lot of the chaos areas and obviously those high round zombies that he basically produces. So, and I'm not obviously a high round player as it is, in case you guys aren't new, so I'm not entirely sure how this map would rank compared to others for basically a high round potential map. But I can imagine if you guys know what you're doing, you have the right gobblegum setup, like Black Ops 6 and 7 Zombies gives you a lot of ammunition and just a lot of setup to prepare for those high round strategies. So I'd say maybe if you re-augment your stuff and cater it to this map, I can imagine it could be pretty good. But like I said, I'm not a high round player. But for the Wonder Weapon, I think this is definitely cool. I do like the LGM. I think this is a really good one. I do think they could have done better again with this one. I think so far the Wonder Weapons have been pretty average. Like, that's not a bad thing. I think they've got things to improve on. Maybe, who knows, we'll get some elemental weapons. That would be the dream. Obviously, we had them in Horizon Tracker DLC 1. We obviously had them in Citadel last year with the swords as well. So obviously, people, I think, were looking forward to having maybe something like that. So who knows, in DLC 2, 3, 4, whatever, we might get them. And that would be a cherry on the top for me. I absolutely love elemental weapons. But the concept and the design is really cool for this weapon. And I do think it is a good little journey on how you have to get it. Not easy by any means for the average player, but you do have to go on a bit of a journey and start building towards that Easter egg in order to get this thing. And you only need it for literally one step, which we'll go into now. So for the Easter egg, again, to remind you, this is not a guide. I do not create guides for Easter eggs. I appreciate there's no one watching this for a guide. It's purely, like I said, a ranking ultimate tier list video where we're summarizing every map, my journey, my experiences, my reflections, so that we can form the ultimate tier list. But for the Easter egg, the first step, usually as always, as a summary, is to turn on the Pack-a-Punch and obviously usually the power in other maps. But for this map, we need to get the Pack-a-Punch open by progressing through the map and finding 2 parts on either side of the map. You then have to get the 4 Wonder Weapon parts, the car battery with the Pack-a-Punch gun, the wire from the flicking lamppost, the cryo freeze, getting cryo freeze on your weapon, and then shooting 3 of the crystals around the map to obtain the shards. And then you have to shoot the drone that's surrounding Oscar in order to get all of the parts together, and then effectively you can start defeating Oscar in 3 separate areas. You can do all of these in any order, but the first one, you need to activate the sun beam in the Pack-a-Punch room by shooting the 5 pipes that are basically leaking out gas by interacting with the piano. If you do fail this step, it's really not that difficult. You can reactivate by basically interacting with the piano. In case you guys want to wear, just a useful tip. Then use the observatory viewfinder after you've shot all 5. Aim at the sun and basically locate that thing. And as soon as you lock onto the sun and basically get teleported out, the laser will appear, and you need that to kill Oscar by luring him in, and effectively you will have defeated him 1 out of the 3 times. Go another 1 round or 2, take Oscar to the Luminarium and activate that same trap that's in the main room. Shoot his drones to make sure that his shield's not protecting him, and wait for him to effectively die, as you will see on the objective marker. Same thing again, go another round or 2, take him to the museum, place the 3 crystals that we got earlier into the back of the rocket, and then effectively lead Oscar into the back of the rocket as the blaster ends on the timer. With all 3 Oscars now defeated, that is effectively how you collect the Wonder Weapon, the LGM-1, which I said is a very cool design and cool concept. It reminds me a tiny bit of the Ray K in Firebase C from Cold War, but that's the only similarity I've managed to draw from so far. But be sure to obtain the bone saw in this map as well in the museum by smashing the glass panel, and then also using the viewfinder again to then relocate a new planet and locate Mars. Note down the declination number, the DEC, used for a later step, which is useful to have to hand by now. Go another 2 rounds again, wait for Oscar to spawn in, and then follow him around the map whilst not getting too close, because he needs to be in the non-combat mode whilst he's searching effectively, and he'll have this like yellow flashlight. You effectively just follow closely to him, listen out until he says he's going to play back Elimination 20, where he'll then mention these 3 planets. You then need to note down those 3 planets that he mentions, which I'm just going to add here. I absolutely love any Easter egg like Voyager Despair or anything that adds anything to do with the solar system and planets. I've just always had an incredible experience with that. So I must say, if they ever do that again, I'm always for it because I absolutely love the concept of it, and I think it always plays out pretty well for the most part in my own experience. But effectively, use the order of those 3 planets that you just got, and effectively, the closest to the sun is the lower number, and the furthest away from the sun, being Pluto, is the higher number. Whatever 3 planets he named is the code number that you need to input into the little device that is in the pack lunch room, and effectively the platform will now lower once you've got that code, and you can grab the cryo key from the zombie, head over to the Astralis room, and use this key to unlock the cryopod, where we will now use that bone saw that we collected earlier on the body to collect the brain. Pretty gruesome stuff, we're not going to show it. You then need to take this brain to the canister in the Luminarium, which will then start another lockdown phase. Split up as teammates, in my opinion, as a little bit of advice again, because it makes it just a bit easier. You only have to deal with them purple-eyed zombies, and someone else can just train the rest of the zombies. Once you complete, take the brain back to the Astralis room, the solar system room, and basically place this into the bench and craft it into position. Once completed, interact with the machine, which will now show various books from that reading list, using the machine in the same room on the upper level to input the declination number code that we got earlier from the viewfinder. This machine will now say ready, and you can move on and complete the library step, which at first does seem quite confusing, but in reality, once you understand it, it's not confusing whatsoever. And effectively, you need to use and remember having noted down the names of the books that you saw earlier on the reading list, and then going into the library, each of the 3 sections will have numbers of books in that area that you just read off. If there's 2 in that same area in one of the sections, you note down the number 2. If there's 1, you note down the number 1, and so on in 3 different areas. So your code might be 211. You effectively need to use that same code and turn the little sort of statues in the corners of each section and turn them by the corresponding number. Like I said, it's not a guide. I'm not going over that in much more detail, but as you understand, it's not too difficult whatsoever. You effectively turn those in a timely fashion, and once you've done that, you will effectively have completed the step, with the ladder now opening up into a secret hatch in the library where you can collect the model planet and then go and place that onto the hanging prong in the solar system room, the Astralis room. From there, you need to now find 3 pages around the map. One is in the Astralis room, which will have a number or 2 letters on it. It will be southeast or northwest or something like that. The other one is on the table in the archive room, so that library was just in, and then the Luminarium has the final one. With all 3 of these, you now need to see what planet was basically on each one. There'll be a name of a planet, and then it will have the 2 letters with northwest or southeast, whatever, and then effectively line those 3 planets up on the solar system that's hanging on the ceiling in accordance with those symbols, with obviously north being right above you, so you can see which way you need to shoot, left or right. Rotate them into position, interact with the brain at the bottom to start the lockdown phase, where you'll now need to prevent drones from Oscar from flying into the portal. Now you'll need to be teleported to Mars once you complete this. You'll need to collect the brain that will fall down onto the map, place this into the device at the top of the arena, craft the machine, and then look out of either of the left or right windows, where effectively a bird will now be flying around out there, and you effectively need to shoot one of the right side pillars, shoot the left, shoot the inner right, and then shoot the closest left pillar. And what you're effectively doing is lighting up a blue little orb above them, and it will attract the bird towards the main part of the map. You then need to shoot the 5th and final one at the top of the map, and then basically once you've got the bird in the map, you keep shooting that 5th pillar to keep the bird trapped above the teleporter area, and then effectively once the 0 gravity is activated, you can jump and grab the bird to collect the intel. Once you've done that, you're on basically the final step, where you need to head back to the main map, go into the pack-a-punch room by the piano, and there'll be 5 images that will show up in a sequence that is important to understand and note down. And effectively, you interact with the piano, it will show each of those 5 images, and then using and noting down these 5 images, you need to now use the wonder weapon in Mars and now shoot the corresponding pillars on Mars. So you need to light up all 5 of them and then go and interact with them in an order on each of the pillars that aligns with the sequence from the piano in a timed fashion. I know it probably sounds confusing. Again, not a guide, so if you want to go check that out, it's not difficult whatsoever. It's a really cool step, I must say. This reminded me of like watching Dune. I was watching my brother the first time we ever did this, and we ended up failing this Easter egg attempt. But I was watching him do this, and I understood what he was doing. It was just he had the wonder weapon, and the whole thing is just wicked. Like I absolutely love this step. There was so much aura from the hearing the piano and just knowing you're in Mars. I don't know. I absolutely love this step. But once you've completed that, you are literally now ready to go and take on the boss, and this is a very difficult boss fight to say the least. So make sure, prepare your gobblegums, have any Casimirs or monkeys, pack a bunch 3 weapons, legendary weapons, have Semtexes for armor, even use the Ion Sniper for armor damage, Shatter Blast for ammo mods, have plenty of points spare, around 20k or even more if you can have for ammo and plates. Like all of these things, have Ether Shroud or Frenzied Guard for plates again. Like these are all things that I would genuinely recommend and what I had to do in order to get this thing done, because this thing first time round was so difficult. The first few phases were weird to get understand what we were doing, but once you understood what you were doing, it's not that difficult. But the second it comes down to to the main map, and then he gets to like the third phase, he just takes so much damage. He's so tanky, and we did not have the right setup, so make sure you're prepared. But the first phase is pretty simple. You need to effectively charge the right-hand side pillar with the zombie souls in the arena. Use the machine up the top to basically now deal laser damage, which is really good and will do a lot of damage. Repeat this same thing for the left-hand side. Do the exact same things, activate the laser, and it'll do a stupid amount of damage. Now there'll be gas that appears. Kill zombies, use the laser one final time at the top, and it will defeat the giant skull. The second phase is now the real boss. He'll come down to the ground, and you'll need things like Semtexes to break the armor, ion, whatever. You avoid the smash attack that he does because this thing is absolutely lethal, so make sure you jump up in the air and then deal damage throughout, breaking the armor and just continue to deal more damage. The third phase is pretty much the exact same thing, just work together, avoid all of the damage, and make sure you're focusing on the armor and repeating the same step. The fourth phase is where the tough part begins. As soon as it starts, you'll have a full minute of ultimate ammo, tac, and lethals, so spam it all on the boss and deal as much damage as you possibly can as early on. Avoid the purple rocks and electricity, and simply just repeat the same cycle over and over again, avoiding him doing damage, and also deal as much damage as you can to defeat the Caltheris boss, which in summary, I'd say this map definitely deserves its flowers. I thoroughly enjoyed the experience of playing it, learning and completing the Easter egg, and defeating this boss, which did take me and my brother 2 times. We've been playing since World at War Zombies. We have been, like, we're the most experienced people you could probably find that aren't basically full-time streamers, and this did challenge us, and this is something that I have to say is a testament to this map. Like, of course, you can do this the first time if you're fully prepared and you watch the video over and over again, or you just are the best zombie players in the world. It's not about that. At the end of the day, this challenged even myself and my brother, who are experienced, so I can imagine for the average person, this would be one hell of an experience, something that you have to really overcome. It reminded me a lot of like a Destiny raid boss almost. Like, this thing was challenging, it was tanky, and it took some coordination with the phases, so I absolutely loved it, and I think this map definitely, like I said, deserves its flowers. This was a proper challenge that I loved. I would definitely come back to this map for sure in the future, and I would highly recommend it for any new players, and of course, if anyone has an issue with Black Ops 7, please try this one out and see if you change your opinion. With that said, that's pretty much the video. As always, if you've enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. It massively helps me out, guys. I am a small creator. If you have any comments about this map, tips or tricks, or about playing zombies in general, or any suggestions about future videos that you want to see on the channel, let me know, guys, down below, and I'll get right back to you. I'm Vision SGen. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.